all as well.
Do you have any idea what your square footage is?
A little less than 950. I think it's like 926 on the property record.
And that would include that little piece over there.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. I want to get a side view because that's going to help us get the pitch on this thing just by looking at that. That looks like it exceeds 90 degrees a little bit. Right there. Maybe not. But with this guy, I can get some pretty good pictures and get you some pretty good estimates.
We had our home inspection done, and you know, he mentioned the roof. About it's looking kind of old, and we might think about replacing it. But also, the chimney doesn't go to anything, and I had somebody out here earlier, and they stuck their nose in there, and they're not hearing it or smelling anything about through the furnace or the air conditioning. He doesn't know if it's going up through there or not.
Right.
But he said, the home inspector said you might as well just take it down, and once you do get a new roof. So.
Okay. I got a 1948 Lakewood, and this is, how old is this one?
1948.
All right. Well, I'm similar kind of build and similar challenges, and you're going to promise me that you don't have any furnace gas CO2 going through that.
Before you touch it.
They know that. I mean, or we need to discover that.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, he was up there and he stuck his nose in there. Didn't smell anything, but that's not to say that it's not connected. I'm just not sure.
Let's poke around it, because basically I understand right. What you ask us to do is tap the brick away, remove it from your property, so that we can add some boards and get you one flat roof with no chimney.
That's correct. And
just leave it hanging inside your attic. Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, the home inspector just basically said the less stuff poking through the roof, the less places to leak. And
well, yeah, I agree, but gosh, there's 100 million billion chimneys out there that doesn't leak. And I don't think that's extraordinarily labor intensive.
Yeah.
And we'll leave that up to you. But, you know, one thing I would definitely replace the flashing if you were going to leave. I can't believe the hummingbirds around here.
Yeah. They're not shy at all either. Two almost flew into him earlier.
Are you serious? I've heard they're very aggressive with each other.
They are. It's crazy.
They chase each other all over.
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
With each other.
Yeah. The thing about the porch is you're going to want the porch coming out of these two doors. So you're probably going to run the edge of the porch where you got that piece of trim molding and gutter. And you're going to make that a walkway, and you might have a walkway in front depending upon how things are going to fall. But a couple of options, and if you see pictures it would always be helpful, that our biggest challenge is gaining enough slope on a roof line to give you an asphalt roof.
Yeah, that's kind of...
We want an asphalt shingled situation here, and that's about 8 feet to right here on tippy toes.
Yeah.
Kind of. So
if cut off that section of roof?
We could. Or we could just leave it, and...
You'd have to go down to like...
Well...
7 feet?
Porch edge doesn't have to be here. But that would be a nice porch, because then the next thing you're going to do is basically pick up what you see in your mind's eye and put it at the end of the porch, because you're going to have a deck out.
Yeah.
And if you kind of set this about where it is, or you can have a walkway and come in if you want to do a 3 foot, put it here, get my 8 foot, so that's about the top of a rafter, and then you're going to cut a set of rafters probably to fall about the midline of the roof, so that you can get that reasonable slope to catch this, because if that's 8 foot, the other side of this needs to be 10 to 12 to 14 feet, and I don't know if it would go up to the crest. I think that's extreme. But I can definitely see it going even with the plumbing boot.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. And we might put a wall here. That way you can have a walkway. This might be the gate to go to the next deck. You might have a door here or there, or maybe in the middle. Screen around that. But the biggest challenge is the roof line.
Yeah.
And I think you got it in spades easily from here to here.
Excuse me.
Sure, go ahead.
So.
Yeah. Hold on for a moment.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, our thought was kind of, we'd like to make this wider, going down and doing like a stone kind of patio area
Okay.
Sure.
down that
So
way.
I
Okay.
could do 3 months at
Yeah.
once, then I should be able to, as long as my insurance allows. Okay.
But
Yeah.
like I said, this is kind of an old deck, and we just weren't sure on the.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your help.
Proof
I
the
really
pudding's in the
appreciate
eating.
it.
Can you jump up and
All right,
down?
bye-bye.
And when you do, will she feel it? Do you feel me moving?
No.
Okay. I mean, that's essentially, engineer's going to come out here, because I've got one in my family. He's a PE civil, and he's about to retire, being almost 65, and he's reasonable by the time he gets this old in engineering and stops pulling out books and math formulas.
Yeah.
And I say, is it about to go? I said, well, try to make it move. You know, and you do that for the left, right, and you do that, and it's stable. I don't know if we can build a porch on it, because I need to know a little bit about your structural members. And I'll tell you a couple things I see is I know there's a joist here because I see a row of nails, and I see the span of 24 inches, and engineers like to see 16. But if that's a 2x12, it will go 24.
Okay.
And those are the formulas I hand my civil engineer in Raleigh, and he says yay or nay. So we can build you something that'll pass code. It has to be inspected if you ever want to sell the house.
Yeah.
So we do all of that. We do all of the engineering. You help us with the architectural design, because I'd like you to be happy with it when we get finished. And I kind of pace it off, and because that's about 3 foot. So it looks like it's going to be about 12.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking it's about about 4.5. So it's 14
12 by 14.
ish.
Yeah.
I can always pull this guy out. You know, do a hole. And so see, that's 15 right there.
Maybe this is really 12 by 18. I think it was. That's what the floor plan said when we bought it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, but I know that's about 15 in a piece, and that is about 14. So, don't want to kill the peppers. Are they peppers?
Yeah. They are peppers. Don't worry about it. They've seen better days.
Peppers are about over in September, almost September.
Yeah, we got those in the beginning of the year. And
They're just
Yeah.
as the first peppers we've got on them.
Bigger pot.
Yeah.
I usually get a 5 or 10 gallon, and put a little drip of water.
Yeah, we were renting over there, so
Yeah.
we wanted to be able to move them once we,
Right.
and so
Sure,
now that we
sure.
have this garden, next year it'll be a lot better.
You know, I would plow up my whole backyard,
Yeah.
knowing me. I mean, with the fig tree and everything,
Yeah.
just a massive, yeah. But that's nice. Yeah.
So definitely, instead of, it would not be feasible to extend the porch all the way to the railing and have it all covered, because the roof line just gets too tricky.
I can do anything.
Maybe the cost would be prohibitive. Yes. Okay.
What I try to do is present something that's reasonable in the numbers
Yes.
department,
Yeah.
because I know that's what drives the bus.
Yes.
And for me, to put a wall even with that wall is insignificant compared to giving you this next 3 feet.
Yeah, which we don't really need.
So,
Yeah.
stupid ballpark numbers, which I probably shouldn't do, but an illustration, if you don't hold me to it, it's like $45 a square foot from here to here if we're going to do this guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if we're going to do this, it might go to 75 a square
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah. Yeah, so significant.
Which you don't want to, it's not worth the extra space.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's better if you really want it bigger, go that way.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that
this
way.
is this
That
is a
way
good
better.
size. Yeah.
You know, if you want to eat the window, which you can if it's a wide open porch. One of the questions is, this looks like a plumbing vent.
Yeah,
It's not actually hooked to anything though.
Okay.
It's
yeah. So
it
we
used
could
to be, but it's not.
take that out.
Okay. Just the one thing you want to be careful of is what are you disturbing?
Yeah.
Interrupting. And, you know, if I plug that up and you need it, something's going to start leaking the house. Wait for it. And I know that. Okay.
Yeah, from what our inspector said, that's not attached to anything.
Okay.
And the other thing, just as we are looking at costs, anything that we can do ourselves to help cut down on the costs, we are totally willing to do, whether that's, you know.
Cool. And give me an idea about your abilities. I mean, you know, obviously we're going to come out, we're going to have to assess the deck, and I'm going to try to get some videos so that I can get it to my engineer and say, John, these people want this thing, and do we have something we can build on, or do we have to beef it up?
Yeah.
Because it's got to be inspected, and they're going to want to see a permit here with a PE engineering stamp.
Yeah.
And that, when they see that, they stop looking so carefully because they know it's on his back and then it's on mine.
Yeah.
But if we can get it up, y'all can do screen.
Yep.
Yep. Y'all can do painting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Y'all can build a rail.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we can do that.
That's fine.
I mean, we've built
Yeah.
stairs for decks, railings for decks. I
Okay.
mean, you built your brother's deck.
Sure. Let me take a look at what you got underneath because I got a pretty good idea what you want to see on top.
Yep.
And they got some really easy things like that's a 2x8 perimeter. Let's see. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, that's 7 inches. So it's a 2x8 there. Look underneath.
There's an access panel over here if you want to.
No, that's fine. We've got what they call a span here, from here to here of 24 inches, which is huge for a 2x8. And it's running the whole length of this deck, which I think what we say that was 18 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. You've got 2 posts inside. And it's holding up a double 2x8 functioning as a girder. That interior post is coming out, say about 8 feet. And that looks like a new development because that post is still...
Yeah, we had them replace the all the support posts because they were completely rotted.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so all the support posts.
Yeah, I see that guy there has got some fresh dirt around him, and we're going to hope that they put some little pieces of concrete underneath there. We need about 4 inches on the bottom of all these guys. And I can see right by the house, by that gutter, there's a new one.
So if they didn't put concrete, if it's just wood into dirt, does that mean we would have to correct that before we could consider putting anything on top?
Well, I'd go load my shotgun if I were y'all.
Yeah.
If they did that to you. That would be bad. How long has this been like this? A new build, or semi-new build?
I mean, within the last couple weeks.
Weeks.
The support posts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we only moved in last week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a thing called a probe, and it's a fancy word for a piece of metal we shove in the ground and find out if we hit something hard.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't go but 8, 10, 12, 14 inches deep, and nobody wants to dig in clay any deeper than they have to because they're hitting stuff like that. So basically, we're going to go stick it in there and see what we find. And, boy, that's some stair over there. What was that? A big piece of brick coming out from the side of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the old stairway used to be.
Okay. And, but I've got enough information to start poking around because this will be a load-bearing wall here. And we might have to go up underneath and dig. We might have to put a girder underneath, which is going to be one of these guys doubled,
Yep.
and he will live kind of right where my hand is
Yep.
coming down, and it'll be what they call a drop girder, and we might do the same thing over there. I don't know if we're going to need to do a drop girder in the middle, but my engineer has enough data here so that he will be able to do that. Another load bearing wall is it'll be in the front, and because the roof line's going to bear on this, and we'll put some kind of post here catching 8 foot high. And look at this. I don't like doing a deck on 4x4s, but you can. There's not a problem. We got a span 4x4 to 4x4 here of 7.5 foot, and then we've got a stair that's 4 foot wide, and that's a 6.6, so that'll be yeah, well, that's 3.5, and then we've got another span here of 7.5 feet, and that's again on a double 2x8. So he's going to tell us, he might tell us that that can't be 2x8, it needs to be 2x10 for the additional roof load, because it bears down. And I'm glad those guys like to do that for a living, because I don't. You know. But
so in the instance, just for example, that he did say like, oh, that's supposed to be a 2x10, so then do we have to pull it off and replace it with a 2x10? Do you just put it on the outside of it and replace the railings?
I'm going to ask him.
Okay.
Because I want to do it the easiest way possible.
Yeah.
And the thing I didn't like is you said remove and replace. Because when you said remove and replace, that comes off, all of that, all of these, all of that. He's got to take off. This height is going to be wrong. And gosh, that's an act of God to do that.
Okay.
Okay, and what I'm going to ask him, if he tells me that, I'm going to say, John, would you let me put 2 inside?
Yep.
And not bear forward, down, traverse back.
Yep.
Because it's got to bear a load somehow.
Yep.
And then I would rather put in a double 2x10 here.
Yes.
And let it be 3 inches back, and then let these 2 guys bear on some new piers. And let's get some good 2x6s.
So basically there are ways to, even if the engineer says, gosh, this deck as it stands today can't have a roof on it, you need to do X, Y, Z. There are ways to do it without having to take everything down and rebuild everything. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I want to use what you have if we can.
Yeah.
But if he says 2x8s, I'm going to tell him I don't like the 2x8s. Me personally, from all the decks I built, I would rather have a 2x10 parameter in the 2x8 joist.
Yeah.
Because that would be more standard operating procedure on the decks that I built. And you'd be amazed how similar they are.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed how different they are too. But we're going to do everything we can to make the build happen for you.
Awesome.
And we're going to let you put screen up and paint it and put rail up, and you're going to see plans ahead of time, and you're going to say, well, gosh, Lee, let's do this, 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 and this. And I'm going to say, well, let's see. I've got to get structural. I need to get 2 walls up. I need to get rafters, sheathing, tar paper, flashing, shingles, and post, and then we're done. And then y'all have to go work.
Yeah.
But it's going to be pretty by that time of year for y'all to get out here. You're going to feel really good about it because it's primarily cosmetic stuff left.
Yeah.
And you'll like it. And if you hit a snag, you call me, we can fix it.
Okay.
So, anyhow.
Excellent.
Well, I'm a retired school teacher. I taught IT for 1 billion years. Not right. It just seems like 1 billion. I'm going to give you a card so you can find me.
Perfect.
I'm going to show you the back first because y'all were thinking about decks.
Okay.
Okay, and if we can get enough parts and pieces, I'm prepared to give you a lifetime warranty. All you got to do is let me clean it and seal it.
Yep.
Every reasonable. We come out here in 2 years and said this deck isn't hurt, call me in 2 more.
Okay.
You know, we're not here to gouge you. We just want to take care of what we build. And number 2, if there's a goof like issues with things, then we'll solve it.
Cool.
Okay.
So, Ron was here on Friday
Yeah.
to look at the ceilings inside,
Right.
and I think he sent an email and mentioned that you might be able to